seeking the vote of confidence twice within 3 months, Prime Minister Pushpa Dahal has expedited preparations to expand the Council of Ministers. Prime Minister Dahal has also hinted towards reforming the province governments based on consensus in the newly formed alliance. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Pushpa Dahal prepares to expand the cabinet after securing the vote of confidence, faces challenge in distribution of ministries among the alliance parties. Election Commission calls for registration of political parties for by-election of vacant positions of the House of Representatives, candidacies to be filed on 3rd of April. Kremlin says Russian President Putin and Chinese leader Jinping held a thorough exchange of views on first day of talks. US urges China to press Putin to halt the war in Ukraine. And 6 new players included in the 23-member squad of the national team for Prime Minister Three Nations Cup. Nepal take on Laos in the inaugural match tomorrow. Prime Minister Pushpa Dahal, who received the vote of confidence for the second time within 3 months, has expedited preparations for expansion of the Council of Ministers. However, the parties in the ruling coalition are yet to reach a consensus on the share of ministerial portfolios. Prime Minister Dahal has proposed the share of ministries with the senior leaders of the alliance partners on the basis of the number of seats at the House of Representatives. Sources have said that an agreement is yet to be reached as Nepali Congress and Rashtriya Swatantra Party have demanded the highest number of ministries. Parties also remain polarized on the significant portfolios, including the Ministry of Finance and Home Affairs. Prime Minister Dahal, who is preparing to expand the Council of Ministers by the 24th of March, has said that a consensus is to be reached within the next few days. The Prime Minister is also in plans to visit India before the mid of April. Appointed the Prime Minister on December 25 with the support of CPN UML among other parties, Dahal received the vote of confidence for the second time inside 3 months yesterday following the formation of a new political equation involving the largest party of the House of Representatives, Nepali Congress. Prime Minister Pushpa Dahal, who received the trust vote from the House of Representatives yesterday, has assured of giving a full shape to the government at the earliest. Addressing a program organized in Palungtar municipality of Gorkha today, Prime Minister Pushpa Dahal said that discussions had begun to give a full shape to the federal government and reform the province governments to share leadership turns among the alliance partners. Prime Minister Dahal also assured of good governance, social justice and prosperity in the days ahead. He went on to add that all 3 tiers of the government would collaborate to address the public aspirations of development and prosperity. CPN Unified Socialist has formed a 3-member task force to decide on participating in the government. Today's meeting of the Central Secretariat of the party has formed a task force led by Party Chairperson Madhav Kumar Nepal, which includes Deputy Chair Pramesh Hamal and General Secretary Khansham Phushal. According to spokesperson Jagannath Khatiwada, the task force is to discuss on topics including the share of ministerial portfolios from the centre to provinces, including the government agenda. The Election Commission has called upon the political parties to register themselves for the election for 3 vacant positions of the House of Representatives slated for the 23rd of April. Parties to contest in the election can register themselves from tomorrow. Candidacies can be registered on the 3rd of April. The Election Commission has set registration of political parties from tomorrow until 26th of March. Candidacies are to be registered on the 3rd of April. Grievances are to be filed on the 4th of April, while the list of candidates are after required investigations is to be published on the 5th of April. Candidates can withdraw their name on the 6th of April, while the Commission will assign the election symbol on the same day. The Election Commission, which had begun updating the voters' name list on March 15, will conclude required works on March 30. Elections are to be held in the constituency of President Ramchandra Paudel in Tanahu 1, Vice President Ram Sahaya Prasad Yadav in Bara 2, and Chitwan 2 of Rabi Lamichhane, whose position as the parliamentarian was scrapped by the Supreme Court. There are a total of 134,000 voters in Chitwan 2, 123,000 in Tanahu 1 and 106,000 in Bara 2. Ghode Jatra has been celebrated by organizing different programs in the Kathmandu Valley today. Ghode Jatra, also known as the Horse Racing Day, which falls on the Nepali month of Chaitra, was celebrated in the Kathmandu Valley today. It is known as the oldest festival celebrated in the country's cultural hub of Kathmandu Valley. Nepal Army personnel performed various equestrian skills and stunts on the occasion. Deepak Yadav of Rautahat has been holding a hunger strike with a number of demands. Yadav has been on a fast unto death since Sunday night against corruption in Garuda municipality. Yadav's demands include access to education, electricity, appointment of officials based on contract, among others. Yadav has also demanded holding a public hearing regarding his demands at the premises of Garuda Sugar Factory. During a press meet, Mayor of the municipality, Kantamani Prasad Kalwar, said that the administration was prepared to address the demands. Mayor Kalwar assured of providing progress report of all the projects by holding a public hearing before mid-April. Blacktopping works of the road section from Baldheng Gadi of Apalpa to Jhimjhime Jaluke have remained stranded for the past 3 years. Blacktopping works of 8.5 kilometers of the road section have remained stranded as the contract was assigned without the permit for felling trees in the forest region. Barely 30% works of the project, which should have concluded before the mid of August last year, have been completed so far. The construction company has not been able to expand the road, for which an agreement was reached on the 8th of June 2020. However, the Department of Forest has not issued the permit to cut the trees. The agreement for blacktopping of the road was reached at 295,163,000 rupees. According to the Road Infrastructure Development Office, the construction company has already received 43,581,000 rupees for laying hume pipes and expansion of road, among other works. Despite assignment of the construction project, preliminary environment assessment report was not approved. Works have been taken forward because of differences in the number of trees counted, preparation of preliminary environment assessment report when the detailed environment impact assessment report should have been prepared, and assignment of contract before the approval of the report. Vehicles are parked on the road in Sankwasaba headquarters, Khandbari, as the marketplace in the headquarters does not have a bus park. Risks of accidents have increased as vehicles are parked on the road. Despite the lapse of 2 decades since access to the road network, Khandbari municipality is yet to arrange a bus park. Failure of the municipality in managing the land which it had purchased 2 decades ago for the purpose of a bus park has led to parking on the road. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: what should be done to raise export of products made in Nepal? Your options are A, investment-friendly policy, B, raise domestic production, and C, prioritize commercialization. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. The Kremlin said on Tuesday that Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese leader Xi Jinping had held a thorough exchange of views during their first day of talks and had discussed Beijing's peace plan for Ukraine. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov declined to give further details, telling reporters to wait for a joint statement later on Tuesday after the two leaders meet for a second day of talks. He said the two leaders had talked about China's proposal, a 12-point paper calling for a de-escalation and eventual ceasefire in Ukraine, but again declined to elaborate. Putin said on Monday he had carefully studied China's ideas, viewed them with respect, and would discuss them with Xi. The Chinese document sets out some general principles but contains no detailed plan for how to end the war, now in its 13th month. Chinese President Xi Jinping should press Vladimir Putin to halt the war crimes in Ukraine, the US has urged. The two will meet again on Tuesday for official talks during Xi's first visit to Moscow since the invasion. The White House's National Security Council spokesman called on Xi to urge his Russian counterpart to withdraw troops from Ukraine. John Kirby said seeking a ceasefire would not be enough. On Monday, Xi and Putin held more than 4 hours of what were described as informal talks, with more formal discussions scheduled for Tuesday. There are concerns that China's support for Russia, currently based on technology and trade, might become military, potentially including artillery shells. Putin has said he will discuss a 12-point plan proposed by Xi to settle the acute crisis in Ukraine. China released its plan to end the war last month. It includes ceasefire hostilities and resuming peace talks. China's plan did not specifically said that Russia must withdraw from Ukraine, which Ukraine has insisted as a precondition for any talks. In another development, Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is making a surprise visit to Ukraine for talks with President Volodymyr Zelensky. He is expected to voice solidarity and support for Ukraine following Russia's invasion. Japan and China see each other as regional rivals. Since Russia's war in Ukraine began, Tokyo has provided Kyiv with a mixture of humanitarian, financial, and non-lethal military aid. Climate scientists have appealed directly to everyone on the planet to seize a dwindling chance to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius or risk harming people living today and their descendants for thousands of years. With graphics showing individuals from babies to pensioners set to suffer ever more from rising heat, the report by the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, have given a more personal twist to findings about looming threats than its past studies directed at governments. Governments have fallen far short of pledges in the 2015 Paris Agreement to limit heating of the climate by shifting off fossil fuels amid crises including COVID-19, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, food shortages, and strained ties between China and the United States, the top two greenhouse gas emitters. The IPCC summary for policymakers, condensing thousands of pages of climate science in 6 mammoth reports published since 2014, is sprinkled with references to healthier lifestyles such as cycling, walking, and diets rich in fruits and vegetables with less high-carbon meat. It also outlines the surging risks to mental health from a warming climate. The last such summary for policymakers in 2014 had far fewer references to individuals and their behavior. The latest one was approved after a week-long meeting of scientists and governments in Interlaken, Switzerland, to negotiate the text. The report reiterates previous IPCC findings that it is unequivocal that humanity is to blame for climate change. But notably, in a difference from earlier reports, it shows high or very high confidence from scientists about the scale of coming risks and the shrinking opportunities to address them. The IPCC has also appealed to people's self-interest, saying that action to combat climate change by shifting to clean energy makes sense for health and well-being in what delegates said was partly an attempt to win over those who doubt the science or economics. Germany's Minister of Education and Research, Bettina Stark-Watzinger, visited Taiwan today, the first time a German minister had done so in 26 years, to strengthen ties between the two countries.
Sports news.
6 new players have been selected for the 23-member squad of the national team of Nepal, announced by head coach Vincenzo Alberto Anís, set to compete in the Prime Minister Three Nations Cup. The team, led by custodian Kiran Chemjong, also includes goalkeeper Abhishek Baral, who has been included in the national team for the first time. Baral is playing for Sadabato Youth Club at the Martyrs Memorial A Division League. Armed police force defender Sanish Shrestha and Padam Bhattrai of Kumaltar are also new faces in the squad. APF midfielder Manikumar Lama, Sumit Shrestha of Manang Marshangdi Club and Sadabato striker Deepak Singh Thakuri have also been included in the national team for the first time. Meanwhile, Army captain Bharat Khawas and Friends defender Aditya Chowdhury have returned to the national team after a long gap. Coach Anees has said that the team was announced on the basis of performance of players at the ongoing Martyrs Memorial A Division League. Bimal Khartimagar and Sujal Shrestha have not been included in the team because of injuries. Team Nepal begin the Three Nations Cup with a clash against Laos tomorrow. Laos and Bhutan are competing alongside host Nepal at the tournament. That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will be at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.